Good morning. It looks like that we are live, so I will look alive. That's one of my dad's favorite expressions when I was a child spacing out. Look alive. Anyways, happy Sunday. We made it through the week. So if anybody's new, say hi and let us know where you're from. And you're at the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. And of course, my famous question on a Sunday morning is, are you coffee, tea, or caffeine free this morning? And for me, it was actually tea, um, but I probably would have done better by mainlining espresso. To tell you the truth, I had an extremely busy week with doing my readings, and today's my Saturday, even though it's Sunday. So little bit groggy this morning. We took on some, a few extra readings this week just because I don't like to have like a waiting list that's too long, like more than a couple of weeks. So I actually took on a few extra clients. So I'm kind of like this morning. So bear with me. We're gonna have good coffee, tea, coffee, matcha. Oh, I like that. Coffee. There we have. Happy Sunday from Miami, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. Misty morning in the Catskills. Yeah, it is. Um, Doing Misty Mountain Hop. I should play some Led Zeppelin this morning because that song takes us from, well, the Misty Mountains in Wales to San Francisco and I think to Woodstock. So I think that song takes us like to three different places. It's one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs. Anyway, let's talk tarot. Let's talk Ascension. And one of the things is I was, drinking my tea and getting ready for today. I was I was consulting with Spirit, like what messages, what's going on with Ascension? Well, definitely they're saying talk about the fact that Saturn's going direct today, and Pluto just went direct. Although Pluto, when it goes direct, it stays stationary for a couple of weeks. So these are key markers, and then they were saying throat chakra, like in this group. When I say this group, yeah, there's, well, people. Well, it's a holiday weekend. Also, say, well, there's only 15 people on, so we're a small group, but it's also a holiday weekend, and most of you actually join me as a video, and so this group will be everybody that's joining me now and in the future, or joining us, I should say. And they're saying throat chakra, like this is this stage, whatever, this week of our ascension, our awakening. It's time to really focus on the throat chakra. And oh shoot, I forgot what the mantra is for the throat chakra. Well, if anybody knows that, you can definitely post that. Is it Lam or Ma? I like Ma for some reason, but whatever the case, one of the ways of working with that, or helping to balance and open it, is just by chanting and singing, and something I like La, I like Ma, I like the Ah sound for the throat chakra, so that'll be kind of like my own thing, I guess. La, la. I just kind of feel that opening and vibrating. And a lot of people always think about, throat chakra is about like, speaking your truth and stuff like that, and being communicative. But I always remind people that actually like hearing, not people hearing without listening. I'm thinking of The Sound of Silence. I'm in a musical mode today. The Simon and Garfunkel. People hearing without listening. So listening and hearing what the other person's saying, and hearing what Spirit's saying, and what nature's saying, and what the wind's saying. That's also throat chakra. So my feeling is, as Spirit's coming in, and I'm seeing robins, I'm seeing birds. So that's messengers from Spirit. As I'm talking about it, I feel like they're saying, spend a little bit of time just to listen to your heart. We talk a lot about heart-brain coherency here, because the wave of spirituality as we approach our awakening. This actually ancient practice that became a modern practice thanks to Heart Math Institute and Greg Braden and teachers like that is really about developing coherence in the heart, and that happens by allowing your heart to do what hearts naturally do, which is love. So we're in this stress survival mode, especially today with all this going on in the world. And it's part of ascension that as we're ascending, we're kind of stretching the proverbial rubber band, so to speak, meaning that as we're ascending and reaching higher and higher consciousness, those that resist, either out of fear or programming, or because the elite, if you want to call them that, or those that run things, don't want an awakening because then it's bad for their business, because if people are awakened, they can't be manipulated or controlled. So they lose the control of the masses when people awaken, and they don't want that because they want to maintain the control. And long and the short of it is that as people awaken, it's kind of like stretching this rubber band, because we're all connected in consciousness. We're part of a collective consciousness, so we're all connected. So those that don't want to awaken are trying to pull back, and those that are awakening are pulling forward, and then the rubber band stretches and stretches until it eventually snaps. And that's kind of what's happening. We're sort of, and this last new moon, and I talked about that in my monthly Ascension updates, which we're going to do every month now. Yay for throat chakra, yes. So we're going to do that every month, although I'm going to have it better organized for November. So it's not going to be an hour long anymore. I'm going to try to keep those to 20 minutes to a half hour and get very concise with the main points. But each month, because November is going to be a doozy, like, and I'll explain why when we get closer to November. But there's a lot of astrological aspects. There's eclipse season starts again, and we have Saturn going direct today in Aquarius, Jupiter going direct next Sunday, I believe, also in Aquarius, and rather than because for those of you that are new, I usually start out, well, after I talk for a few minutes, I usually start out by pulling a meditation card for the week. But Spirit just said to pull the star card. Don't even pull a card, just find the star card, pull that out, make that kind of our little mini tarot tutorial for the day, and use that as a meditation card. And in my deck, this is this, and no, it's not. We didn't pull this because it's the one card in the tarot deck that has nudity. So whoever mind is in the gutter. No, that's not the reason that we did that. Although in this one she's a little bit more covered up. Some of them are a little bit more suggestive, and I imagine that there's probably tarot decks that have more nudity. Maybe there's the pornography deck. I don't know. They have a deck for just about everything now. But part of that is what does that represent? It's like being able to just show who you are, like nudity is symbolic of transparency, I guess, or not hiding who you are. But the main thing with this for me, and I think one of the reasons that we pulled this is that we're very much in a tower experience in the world today. The tower card is key 16. The star card is key 17 in the major arcana. So when the tower hits, it's like the structure has to come down for a new structure to be rebuilt. So when we go through this period of destruction, rebuilding, reordering, all that kind of stuff, the next key is the star card, and that's like renewal. That's very hopeful. That's very optimistic. She's in the water, but the stars overhead. She's got the water and it's dripping from her hand and everything. I'm just gonna take a look. It's kind of a dark day here in the Catskills. There's a bird above her. That could be like a spirit guide or spirit. And yeah, and the star card is actually my favorite card in the tarot. It just has such a beautiful vibe. And I think we have to kind of really focus on, because it's Aquarius energy. So that's the other reason, if I didn't say that before, that we have these planetary transitions in the sign of Aquarius, both Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter just wants to expand and have a good time and grow, and Saturn's kind of like, no, wait a minute, we need to learn our lessons first. So Saturn is more like trying to not prevent us from growing, but more like trying to contract us and trying to get us to really understand like the structure of things and how we need to sort of work and evolve through the structure of life or the structure of our societies, really. So when we talk about Saturn stationing in Aquarius, uh, Aquarius is all about like evolution, revolution, um, and about spirituality and community and stuff like that. And then Saturn can also represent the governments, um, and the structure of things and what we have to learn. So it's kind of like sort of saying that, as this aspect is happening, firstly, we have to stay pretty grounded in our ideas and be strategists in terms of how we're going to deal with, whatever our part is in helping ourselves grow and other people grow. So meditating with tarot cards, the way that I do it and recommend is either if you have your own deck that you like, you use your own card, or if not, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. You can take a mental snapshot of this card, and whenever you meditate, first step is always to get present. Not thinking, when we're not thinking, then we're able to connect with higher energy and vibration. When we are thinking, we're just kind of in this energetic loop of our own thoughts, basically. So kind of cuts us off from really connecting more with spirit or more with the divine. So as soon as we stop our thoughts, just tune into our breathing and just become present. And I take this to the stage where I like to get so present that I lose my sense of self, so to speak, that I'm no longer Adam or a tarot reader or medium. I'm just energy and spirit. So I like to really get that present where I can really just vibrate in the essence of spirit or divinity. um then once you're in that state, then you're in a meditative state, and when you stick with that, then you start to penetrate, well, not penetrate, but rise up through the different layers of spirit, of consciousness, and so forth. So meditating on a card to get present, then in your mind actually step into the card. You can kind of see this as a doorway, and when you step into the card, you can see what's behind the card. You can see the whole panoramic view in your mind, and you can feel it. And there may be other beings there, other spirits, other animals, other scenes. So go in and check out the scenes and feel the relationship that you have. And it's the other interesting thing is that we're in the sign of Libra. There's a lot of strong Libra energy. Mars and Mercury are conjunct, or they were conjunct yesterday, I think. All in Libra. The sun's in Libra. The last new moon was in Libra. That's all about relationship. And then the the Saturn station, I believe, is 6 degrees of Aquarius. So 6 relates to the Lover's card, which is about choices. And I feel like part of our ascension now is based upon our choices of who we're going to continue to relate with, or who we're going to keep as our friend, or Aquarius and the star card also about community. So I think this week a lot of the questions or the issues that are going to come up are going to be about like, who do we keep in our personal community and our personal friendships, or who have we outgrown, or who's growing in a different direction that may just be working against our energy rather than with us. So 6 is the Lover's card. Lover's cards are about choices, um and and the whole like mix of things is really about how are we going to be free yet maintaining some semblance of connection and understanding that there's a process that's going on in the world that we have to be patient with. Because Saturn is very kind of grounded, kind of crystalline sort of energy in a sense, um, that doesn't move very fast. That really wants to examine what's going on now and learn and grow from it. And meanwhile, Jupiter's, the opposite in Aquarius is all about like this explosive revolutionary energy. So the point is like, and Mercury is also retrograde, which is actually a really good time for like coming together and relating to people, for common causes. So this is I think a step in our ascension of really understanding or reforming or rethinking our community. So as you meditate with the card, just see what you get, what spirit says. Open that throat chakra, because that's how we can hear the voice of spirit in our clairaudience or our psychic ears or our inner ears. So let's do 3 cards. Can I see it's already 11:19? So this will be more about the trends for the week that are coming up. And we actually have 4 different divination decks that we're working with these days. And usually they tell a story. So let's see through the different decks that we use what story it's telling us about our week ahead as growing and evolving human beings. Oh, you're welcome, Robin. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, Yvonne, you are absolutely right. That's the sound of the throat chakra. And that M in Sanskrit, the way that I learned it anyway, it's almost like a combination of an M and an NG sound at the same time. So it's almost like kind of like that anyways. And that sound helps to open that throat chakra up. So that is our assignment. That's our homework or our schoolwork. As I'm flipping these cards and mixing them up and just seeing like the 10 of Swords and seeing all these like cards about, about like letting the old self go. Somebody mentioned something about my comments on there's no normal to go back to anymore or something like that, and the person that commented kind of saw that more as a demoralizing statement than an empowering statement. So I think that was Cody, actually. I don't think he's on today. It's like, who was that again? But what was I going to say about that? But that's okay. It's just that we're evolving and growing. We have to accept that we're creating a new normal. Yeah, but there's no normal as we knew it to go back to, and that's fine. It's more about like we don't need that old normal. It's archaic anyway. So it's a little bit I don't know what the right word is. Scary, I suppose. But the thing is, again, it brings me back to that whole point about really finding like our community, and as we grow as a community here on the Medium channel, for example, we start to join with other communities that are doing the same work, and that kind of a thing. So, anyways. Hey. Yes, hi Debbie. Hi Products 34. Yes, all is very well, thank you. So welcome. If anybody's new and they want to say where they are from, feel free. And of course, this will upload as a video, so that people that are coming in the middle, you can definitely catch up on the beginning. So let me ask Spirit, where do we want to go? This card. This one. And this one. Okay. It might be a very emotional week based on the cards that are coming up. To me, the feeling of this is a lot of stuff brewing underneath or beneath the surface. Maybe that's why they're all coming up reversed today. And I was saying these cups are very emotional energy. Yeah, the Emperor card, that's about like self-control and self-mastery. And to me, there's a very specific message or reminder about understanding, not to get emotionally triggered. And we had a very supercharged new moon last week with Mars conjuncting the moon and the sun in Libra. Libra's the scales, it's about balance, but it can also be about governments and legalities and stuff like that. New moons are usually peaceful energy, but not when Mars is conjuncting the new moon. um and so it it was last Wednesday, and that was a really challenging day for me. And I wound up doing a transmission with Heather on Zoom. I did a lot of the light language. I'm going to do that here on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, we're going to do. I don't know if it'll be light language or what, but I do transmissions to assist people in their awakening. So the spirits activate my energy fields, and as we work together, they activate your energy fields. And the light language is really like activation. It sounds that activate the dormant DNA. That's part of the awakening, that our dormant potential that we've always had, that all through history a very small percentage of people would awaken them. So there's always been enlightened masters on the earth, but now we're coming to an era where we all have the potential to become enlightened masters in our own right, and that's through awakening the superhuman potential. So what this is saying is emotional reactions, try to the best of your ability, or I should say allow yourselves not to get triggered, but rather when something comes up, observe your reactions rather than be your reactions, if that makes any sense. Like, our emotional reaction, the way we respond to our environment, is a product of our programming primarily. It's also a product of our innate survival instincts. The so-called negative emotions, anger, frustration, all, those types of emotions, they're really survival emotions, because when we experience these, it releases hormones in the body that give us that extra sense of awareness of the physical, of the immediate surroundings and that kind of stuff, and a little bit of a boost of strength to overcome a situation where our lives are threatened. So it's not negative. It's important. It's important, and this is very Aries energy. So this could be about anger and frustration. The thing is, the way we respond to our environment is a product of our programming. Programming happens through repetition. You observe through, say, ages 0 through 7, how your parents respond to their environment, and then it becomes your program, and it's subconscious. So the thing is, you can't stop your emotions. I love this analogy. You'd have better luck standing on train tracks with a freight train going 70 miles per hour with your hand out and trying to stop a train. That's about how easy it is to stop your emotions. But you can step out and observe your emotions rather than being your emotions. Anybody that follows or works with Dr. Joe Dispenza, understands this, because he says this all the time. When you observe your emotional reactions rather than be your emotional reactions, you're observing the program. You're no longer the program. You're observing the program in action. That is the first step in changing the program. So this is our other homework for the week. When we get triggered by friends or what we see going on in the world, or the news feeds that come out or whatever, and we're like, instead of being that, it's like step out of yourself and watch yourself reacting. And the thing is, you'll process and you'll move through that reaction much quicker, and you won't identify. And if you start to do that all the time, it starts to become a habit. Then that habit starts to evolve into a new program where you can be in more neutrality and presence, just being the observer. In yoga, it's called shunya, or the 0 point. It's that point of presence where you're observing the environment and observe rather than reacting to it. So hopefully that makes some sense. Um, you treasures. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know why. There's some reason. Oh, here we go. I see 666 sometimes. Should I cleanse more or use Palo Santo? 666, and any of the repeating numbers like that are master numbers, and and 666 is basically what's that, the number of man or the number of the beast or whatever. It may just be a sign of awareness, but six in and of itself is the number of service. So I think it's more about being called to service. But because we we're a collective and we carry certain meanings of different things or whatever. It could just be spiritual way of just giving you a heads up, just to keep an eye out for people or situations that may be negative or maybe trying to draw you into some negativity or whatever. And yeah, I think burning Palo Santo or sage is always good in this world, but I don't see that as evil or the devil. I mean, I like it when I see 666, because six is also a financial number. So I'm like, okay, cool, bring it on. More money, yes. More growth. So this could also represent governments. It can also represent systems of control. um I really feel like it may not happen this week, but in the next few weeks we may start to hear about another, we'll say, variant. And I think you know where I'm going with that, or another, we'll just say another thing to try to get people more scared. And when we're in a fear, when we're in fear, it's survival. And all of our energy goes into surviving rather than keeping our immune systems healthy. So the long and the short of it is, if we're always stressed and always in fear, we're actually weakening our immune system and making us more vulnerable to what's out there. So again, observe the fear reactions. I have them too. I'm human. I'm not an enlightened master. I'm a student just like you, and growing every day. Um, but observe that, and understand that when you start to practice heart coherence. And if you want to learn more about that, go to the live event that I did September 24th. I broke down the practice and how to do it. Or go to Heart Math Institute, or look up Greg Braden and how he does it. It's just, again, bringing the heart, electromagnetic rhythm and frequency of the heart, into a coherent pattern. And when we're chronically stressed, is very incoherent, and the heart and the brain are always communicating, and they have the same cells, the same neurons. More the heart communicating with the brain than the other way around. So when we go into compassion and gratitude and hold that, and allow the brain to feel it, and allow our heart to open in those emotions and really feel that then we start, then the heart rhythms, the electromagnetic rhythms become very coherent, and then we connect more easily with spirit, and we open up um, more mental capacity to heal ourselves, to create our reality, opens up our intuition and stuff like that as well, and to connect to my spirit guide every night. The compare. Oh, okay. I might have to address that a little later, because I want to finish up here, because that's it's a lot. But I say the first thing is do exactly what I'm saying right now, Michelle, is to practice heart coherence, practice meditation, practice presence. Sometimes those sleep paralysis is the phase before the spirit leaves the body, especially if you start to get those shakes. Yeah, and that happens to me sometimes, almost like the body feels like it's shaking, and then that next step is like astral projecting. But I have a feeling also, for what's coming up intuitively, is that that you're releasing a lot of like old stuff, old baggage right now, and doing presence and really vibrating more at the heart frequency is going to facilitate that. Anyway, let me see what else about this. I mean, aces are new beginnings also. Um, but, it feels like it's going to be a very emotional week for this group. There may be some purging. It's okay to cry, or I should say, it's okay to weep. There's a subtle difference. Like, weep is a natural process. Sometimes crying is more of a program response to get attention. So there's a little distinction about that. We learn to do that when we're babies. When we cry loud enough, our parents will always give us attention. So weeping is just letting the natural emotion flow, because it's part of the release process. Um, and that's fine. It's almost like we have to mourn, kind of like the loss of what was, and then embrace what's coming in. So, again, there's no normal to go back to, so let's create a better normal. That's the message behind that. So let me move on, because I wanted to do my Native American card. I just pulled one of these. um and I may put my glasses on. My readers. Hey, there I go. I look smart now. um, yeah. So Saturn, is when the planets go station, and they're very powerful. So Saturn is very, very super active right now. Um, Saturn, sometimes it restricts. So again, heart chakra, throat chakra. You're inhaling, feel it expanding and just opening up. Do some yoga, do some deep breathing. To like opening up, because that Saturn energy is kind of very restricting. It's not negative. It's just the energy. That's what I love about astrology and numbers. It's kind of spirit's way of giving us clues as to what's going on. It's like consciousness being represented in the movement of the planets. And we're all connected. This is the card. I knew it was going to be reversed. It's judgment. Um, Reverse. Let me just see how this looks. Well, it's a tree, and there's a reflection. This is interesting. Just seeing what message this is giving to me, because it's upside down. So I'm feeling like in this energy, another, you're doing your meditation with the star card. Another thing to do is actually practice like drawing energy from above through your crown chakra down through your body. I want to say on the inhale, drawing it down into your heart, then on the exhale, just kind of drawing the energy down your center, down into the earth. So it's almost like bringing the energy from above. And trees are pretty amazing energetically, because they help balance the electromagnetic energies of the earth. So some trees, yeah, I talk to trees. I'm one of those weirdos that hugs trees and everything. So but they talk to me also. And one thing that they've been saying to me is that they that they work with the energy. So some trees draw cosmic energy into the earth, other trees release earth energy back into the cosmos, and some trees do both. I think it's something about yin and yang or whatever. So trees are getting cut down. They're getting, so the whole system's getting a little bit strained because of there being less trees. So they ask humans to do that. So I feel like that's part of the meaning of this. But the other thing is, it really ties in with the Emperor card. It's really showing that we're really starting to approach, or it's already happening, the breakdown of the systems. I talked about that in my October Ascension updates. This is all the planetary movement and the numerology. That's what it's showing. It's like the breakdown of archaic, unsustainable systems that were built on a house of cards in the first place. A lot of this is going to hit the financial systems, and they were never sustainable. And just like a little bug that traveled around the world really brought it all down. If you think about how how ungrounded the whole system that this society is built on really is. I mean, if it wasn't a global pandemic, global conflict or natural disaster that affected the whole world, would have done pretty much the same thing. So from an economic perspective, it'll be rebuilt on a better foundation for sure. But I think this is showing prepare because the breakdowns of the systems are happening. We need to stay in our own center and again not be so triggered by what's going on in the outside, but creating a safe haven from within. So staying in the eye of the storm and finding peace within the eye of the storm and vibrating through the heart chakra. And the more people that do that, the easier the transition is. A lot of what's going on in the astrology is kind of pointing towards doom and gloom, but it doesn't have to be that way. If we evolve, a lot of the stuff that could happen won't happen. So it's really up to us, if this is going to be a smooth transition or a rough transition. The only thing that's pretty much written in stone is there's going to be a transition. So it's up to us whether it's going to be easy. Are we going to do this the easy way, or are we going to do this the hard way? So let us do it the easy way, and hopefully that'll rub off on people. So I think a lot of the cards are reversed, and this is reversed. That's 4 out of 4 reversed. I feel like it's saying the breakdown of the systems is happening behind the scenes. It's not that we're going to see a lot of news this week. It's more like we're going to feel it, and we're going to see hints of it, basically. So let me move on to the next one. Animals. I love animals. Frankly, I think there's something wrong with people that don't, but that's my own judgment. So sorry if I'm afflicting that on you guys, um, but I'm I'm very into all the Native American philosophies, and I've done various ceremonies and stuff. So and nature talks to me, and animals talk to me. Okay, it's this card. Let me see. I'm seeing it's tiger, but let me see what I pulled. Well, condor. Well, it's not a tiger, but it's a powerful energy. I mean, the message is very interesting because it says you're too enmeshed in the situation, so step back and see the bigger picture before making any decision or taking action. So that message is very, very, very in line with what we're saying. Be centered, be in the heart, don't be triggered. Um, the what I was saying earlier was about choices and decisions. I think decision about your own life and your own well-being. Trust your instincts, trust your intuition with that. But also condors are like the South American eagles, so they bring a lot of magic, a lot of medicine, and a lot of knowledge from the spirit world. So I think that's also a part of the message there. So let me show you guys what this looks like too. So that's the condor. Um, beautiful birds. Uh, Maybe we're all supposed to go to Peru and do ceremony or work with the shamans. So last but not least are the angels. Um, oh wow, this is the unusual Wednesday, a mountain lion, beautiful, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was seeing a tiger, sometimes what they pop in my mind is relevant also. The big cats are really about strength and pride and having a lot of fortitude. And I've seen mountain lions here before. I saw a wolf, was it 2 winters ago? Friendly wolf too. Um, um, I think it was it Alaskan Greys. They started to repopulate this area with wolves. I didn't even know it. I thought it was a big husky at first until I realized there's no collar. Its fur was matted and it had long legs. It was like that's a wolf. All right, so we get Archangel Gabriel. This is Doreen Virtue's messenger to the angels. You have an important life purpose involving communication in the arts. Please don't allow insecurities to hold you back. I will help you. So, Archangel Gabriel in the tarot, that's the judgment card, which is what we kind of pulled from the Native American deck. Although it's a whole different thing with this. It's key 20, which reduces to a 2. very good spiritually speaking. So in the judgment card and in some depiction, Gabriel's blowing the horn, and that's awakening. So Gabriel's the great awakener in this time, but it's also about communication and the throat chakra. So, like I said, the different decks always tell a story, and you can kind of connect the dots, so to speak, and understand. This is really about working with the throat, listening for spirit, hearing, understanding each other, speaking your truth, um, and understanding also that there's a lot changing. This is we stepped out of the cusp of the great awakening right into the heart of it. So we're right in the beginning of the new phase where things are going to break down and then get rebuilt. Connecting with like-minded people, discerning who's right for you in this new earth, in this new energy that we're all in. If you go through really good days and really bad days, if you have like different physical symptoms coming up, if your emotions are all over the place, it's just there's a restructuring that's happening in your energetic body. And anything that happens in the energetic body always tricks down into the physical body. So the cells change, the nervous system changes. We're experiencing higher volumes and higher frequencies of energy going through us. It really started for me in around 2008 and really ramped up after 2012. A lot of people had awakenings between 2008 and 2014. Now that we're in this wave, about 10 times as many people that had awakenings back then are going to have awakenings. And awakening is just an opening to spirit where you realize it's all an illusion. And now that's at least I had mine in 1979. So I was one of the forerunners. And it was hard to get information back then. And none of my peers really understood what was happening. I started to feel energy going up through my spine. I didn't know anything about Kundalini. I had to learn about that. Um, so Gabriel's here to help us awaken and to again understand, really be in your own power. Understand that as the energetic bodies, as consciousness continues to evolve, it does create physiological changes. And sometimes there's symptoms that come up, and some people have them to such a degree that they go seek medical help. Nobody can diagnose them. And sometimes it's an undiagnosable illness, but most of the time it's ascension symptoms, as they call it. So anyway, let me just see if there's any parting thoughts before I let you guys go. Yeah, they're saying dreams is the other word that comes in. You pay attention to dreams. A lot of people are already having, but are going to be having more active dream life. Just to know, the more we're aligned with spirit, the more protected and safe we are. Just know, even if the world spins on its head, that if you're aligned and you're in that process of growth and connected to spirit, no matter what happens out there, you're going to be safe in here. And there'll be a rebuilding period, but from now into, I would say, at least 2024, but I think even into the 2030s, it's going to be a big awakening. But what that means is that more people awaken, positive changes happen in society, and practice heart-brain coherence. That's my final message. I'm going to be saying that a lot. That's how you'll unlock your inner genius. We're all geniuses waiting to awaken, basically. And we're all psychics, we're all healers. We all have the ability to heal things that doctors don't know how to heal yet through medicine, but mind and consciousness can heal. And I will leave you on this thought. Joe Dispenza wrote a book called "You Are the Placebo," that explains how powerful the mind is in self-healing. And I don't know if it was in this book or his movie, What the Bleep is Going On, or somewhere else, but they talk about a woman that had multiple personality disorder, like Sybil. And one of her personalities developed breast cancer. And they this is medical. This isn't just like new. I shouldn't say just new age. This isn't new age. It's medical. And she would develop, when she was in that personality, a measurable physical tumor in her breast. They could do whatever they do, MRIs or ultrasound or whatever. When she's in a different personality, no tumor. And I think that was in What the Bleep is Going On, because it's like, what the bleep is going on? How does that happen? How can a tumor appear and disappear? Well, behold the power of the mind. This up here, it's your first and best tool to being healthy, or conversely to being ill. So I will leave you on that thought. And I'm going to send a lot of love your way. And hi, Cody, welcome, and everybody else that's here. Yeah, everybody that's late, this uploads as a video. You can watch the whole thing later on. So that's what I have for you. Have a beautiful rest of your day and your week, and definitely all that I said in the last 45 minutes. Do it, and we'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.